puck. Nice move. Corey Perry, the backhand, right through the crease. Valeno, the body check. He'll get possession. It wasn't a great practice this morning for Perry. And look at this. After the whistle now, it's Anderson and Lilleberg. And now Evans getting into it. Perry fell at morning practice, Frankie, and hurt himself. He was good enough to go tonight, and he draws the penalty on Arbor Jacka.
He had to leave morning skate early, which is not something you see often, but Corey Perry has made a career of this, goading you into taking an undisciplined penalty. And Arbor Jacka is going to take a penalty as he's going to give Corey Perry a couple extra shots. They're engaged in the battle, but it's the extra punch that Jacka gives to Perry that's going to cost him, as both these guys jostling at each other. Jacka wouldn't have been happy about Perry trying to swipe his legs from under him.
Seconds left in the penalty. And Josh Anderson has the puck, takes his time, and fires right on Vasilevsky. And now Anderson is going right at Kucherov. Perry's going to jump in.
That'll draw a crowd quickly. As Kucherov was headed off the ice, Josh Anderson said, "Don't you go anywhere." As that is intensifying. Kucherov's fiery. He's not going to go quietly. And as you know, anytime you go after a superstar player, everyone's going to jump in. But Josh Anderson, like I said earlier, Brian, Montreal not going to be content to see how this thing goes and just react. They are being proactive when it comes to the physicality and the intensity, the competitiveness so far in this game.
They'll take this trade, though. You got Kucherov in the box for 2, and Anderson joins him.
86 Tampa, minor penalty, slashing. Montreal, 17, minor penalty, roughing.
All right, so there we go. Yeah, you will take that trade-off any day of the week, anytime you can get Nikita Kucherov off the ice. And it starts with Kucherov slashing Josh Anderson out of frustration after Anderson clears this puck down the ice. As you watch this whole thing develop, 1 tap, 2 taps, back and forth, and then there's going to be a few more before ultimately the big slash right on the hands by Kucherov. And you can understand why Josh Anderson would be feeling frustrated by that. Now,
Mooski, Quebec native, really having a nice breakout year for John Cooper, really taking advantage of his opportunity. But Anderson, I thought he did. That was a late call. And then Dastu grabs Anderson. And a little more of this after a whistle.
This is going to be call. This is going to be something we see more and more as the game goes on. As now Jake Evans jumping in, grabbing Oliver Bjorkstrand, and Dastu and Valeno want to go. Dastu's got his gloves off. I think Valeno's going to give him the fight.
Couple Quebec natives were going to maybe light it up at the Bell Center. Anderson is still wrestling around with Paul. And it's Perry and Hudson. Now Struble is trying to get at Lilleberg, who's got the cage.
Lilleberg's got a cage, and he went down earlier in the shift.
Wow, and that just reignites more.
Corey Perry, of course, of all people, is going after Lane Hudson right now. Everyone's around Valeno and Dastu. The officials, the referees actually breaking up Perry and Hudson. Nick Paul and Josh Anderson out at center ice. It is a mess, an absolute yard sale, and Lilleberg is headed off the ice. He's in some pain, as clearly he took the worst of that whole interaction. As Tampa Bay dressed 7 defensemen in this game, they're going to be down to 6 with 11 forwards, as we'll see how the officials sort this out. But it all started with the icing call and the festivities that took place afterwards. And wouldn't you know it, Brian, Josh Anderson in the middle of it again. This is a good development for the Montreal Canadiens. You need everyone to bring something to the table come playoff time. And if this is what Anderson is going to do, willing to emotionally and physically engage in all these things, it's a heavy lift, especially against a team like Tampa Bay. But that will make a difference for them. And that is a nice role that he can carve out in that series if they play against each other.
And now Suzuki and Hudson, it's a yard sale. You have the bat boy in baseball. Well, these guys are cleaning up all the carnage and handing it back to Veleno, Struble, and Anderson in the box.
Here's the icing. Anderson gives a little contact with Dastu, and Dastu, he's the one who escalates this entire thing. As that draws everyone in, and then Lilleberg, who's gone off the ice now to the dressing room, he's getting fed punches by Struble, who's got his glove off. Lilleberg's got a cage on. And that brings everyone in. And Joe Veleno was throwing punches behind the official to Dastu. Where do you even start in the last little while? And they have a little more of this, a little more sandpaper and bite. As we get another look at the icing. Now, the reason why that gets called icing is because the puck is on the side of Dastu. So theoretically, he's going to get to it first. But Dastu is the one, and then continues the rest of the night.
Tampa 51 has a minor penalty for roughing. 20 Tampa, minor for roughing. 10 Tampa, minor for roughing. On the Montreal side, 47 and 90 both have minors for roughing. 17, Montreal has a minor for cross-checking and a minor for roughing. Montreal is short-handed for 2 minutes.
Slavkovsky, a 70-point season. Dobish will hold. Guy Lafleur 6 times. Richer, the last one, did it twice. Shot. The Rocket, Geoffrion LaRouche, and now Cole Caulfield. And pushing and shoving again, Kensel and Talk.
This is going to be a war of a playoff series. And as we mentioned earlier in the show, according to Sport Logic, a 48% chance that these two teams are going to play in the first round. And what a battle it's...
Radish shoots Perry in front, the deflection, and Hudson scurries it over the puck. Lane Hudson just offside. He wanted Suzuki. As Nick Suzuki now, a 69 assist season.
Every whistle. This is every single whistle right now. And if you're Montreal, you stand in there and you have to push and shove and throw punches. And again, Brian, away from the play, Corey Perry has Lane Hudson. I don't think the players on the ice for Montreal realize that Hudson's alone with Perry as they go back into the pile now, as this is happening all the time. You don't think there's a message being sent here by both these teams. We talk about a 7-game playoff series all the time as little investments, every game, every shift. You can call this an 8-game playoff series at this point because clearly both these teams see this as an investment into the first round of the playoffs.
And look at Perry and Hudson. I mean, Perry,
Slavkovsky and Bjorkstrand grabbing each other again. It's multiple rounds in every single scrum. And now they're going to have to sort this out again as Hudson's bloodied up on the nose. Corey Perry. That's Corey Perry's act in a nutshell.
well, Perry was a guy that went to a cup final with a lot of these young Habs, not Hudson, obviously, but Suzuki and Caulfield, and Suzuki's had enough of this act.
And there it is. Like, I think finally everyone on the ice for Montreal has realized what's been going on. Perry's been doing this. It's like a wrestling match. It's happening way away from everyone else. And now they've realized, and the linesmen have finally realized as well, as it was the referee who mainly has been breaking up Perry and Hudson. That is a calculated maneuver by Corey Perry. And Nick Paul back in the box again. Jaden Struble back in the box again. And the referees will be back to get the notepad and the iPad out and figure this whole thing out.
Yeah, it's not quite Tampa, Florida, but it's getting a feel, isn't it?
It's going to have its own...
All right, 22 on Tampa.
Own feel.
Has a minor penalty for slashing. 47 Montreal, 20 Tampa have 10-minute misconducts. Montreal, power play, 5-on-4.
All right, so Montreal is on the better end of it this time around, as Montreal will get the power play. And Arbor Jackeye still having words with Corey Perry. by the bench, and that's more appropriate for Corey Perry. If you want to go after someone, if you want to chirp someone, take some shots, do it with Arbor Jacki. And this is where you like having a guy like Arbor Jacki on the ice and in the lineup. And here's the whole Corey Perry thing. Talking to Lane Hudson, getting in his face. Hudson, you do appreciate the fact, though, Brian, Hudson's standing there. Like, it's not like he skated off to the bench or anything or said, I don't want anything to do with you. Like, he's going face-to-face with Corey Perry.
A.J. Moser shifts to center. Kucherov was behind him. He got hit by Josh Anderson. Tampa's got to be careful. Too many men picked up by Valeno.
You can go 3-on-1.
Valeno. Evans walking in. What a pad stop. Vasilevsky. Evans again, waiting behind the play. Gloves are off Anderson, and he's dropping him here with Declan Carlile. Oh, big rights, Anderson. Josh Anderson continues to feed the rights. Carlile in the lineup, and he gets a whole lot of Josh Anderson, and the takedown by 17.
This is in response to Josh Anderson making a hit on Nikita Kucherov. The puck was available. Anderson said, no way, I'm going right for the hit. And it led to a 3-on-1 the other way for the Montreal Canadiens. And what a fight for Josh Anderson. Over this game as the physical intensity continues to ramp up. Puck sitting there. Anderson takes a healthy run at Kucherov. The play goes the other way because Tampa thinks it could be too many men, a sloppy change. And Carlile, who's the 7th defenseman in this game, goes to challenge Anderson, but he's got his gloves off way before the fight, so he's going to get the instigator, and Anderson goes to work, as that is most definitely a mismatch. But this has been quite the performance for Josh Anderson. He's been physical, he's been fast. A game, Brian, where you're just hitting to separate guys from the puck.
Braden Point, a step into the forehand. Oh, then he hit Dobish cutting in. Dobish went down, and you know what's coming next. Gloves are off, and another pileup, and now it's Radish. He's trying to tie up Evans, as Evans and Radish is throwing him, and Evans has his gloves on, and he's getting taken down.
Point's going to get the original penalty here, clearly, for running over Jakub Dobish. So Montreal's going to get a power play out of this, any way you slice it. As,
oh, now what? Dastu Texier. Dastu just dropped the rights and dropped Texier as they went at it. Texier didn't really have
he didn't have his gloves off, and he really didn't want to fight. Dastu pulled him out, took his gloves off, and started punching him. As it takes 2 officials to break that up. Now that should be another penalty on Dastu. It's one thing to push and shove in a scrum. It's another thing to drop your gloves and start throwing punches to a guy who doesn't want to fight. He doesn't have his gloves off. So Dastu's off to the box, and so far no Canadiens players in the box, as Point and Dastu will take a seat, and the officials will reconvene, Brian, one more time.
What a night.
Everything, and now it's paying off, as surely they will be on the power play here once the play gets going. Braden Point right into Jakub Dobish. He wasn't pushed. You can clearly tell there's no intent from any Montreal Canadiens player to push Point into Dobish. And that's where everything goes off the rails, as Radish and Evans tied up. And oh, there it is, the notepad.
He thought about it. He said it's a number of things. It's not one thing. But what did he bring up? He said that physical play. He likes the way his team has grown in these type of games.
And the narrative around this team coming into the season, and even for the first half of the season, is, yeah, they're not overly big up front. They're fast, they're skilled, but can they hang against a team that wants to play this kind of hockey?
Tampa 21, minor penalty, goaltender interference. The rest of the players have a matching minors and misconducts.
So there it is. That's your original, and that's the right call. And then everything else gets sawed off after that.
Leader. And there's Deneau. Newhook. Oh, just missed him with a pass. And offside Montreal. What a block from Noah Dobson. And again, after a whistle, a scrum, helmet off.
It's seemingly nothing, but it's a whistle. There's bodies close together, and that's a reason to push and shove. And as you mentioned, Brian, what a shot block. The urgency by Noah Dobson, and then going back the other way, we got a little more pushing and shoving.
Well, that's going on. Dovish and Arbor Jackeye are having a conversation. Danault's still yapping with Chernak. Got to be honest with you, Frankie, no place I'd rather be. What a game. 1-0 Montreal.